What's going on, everybody? October 21st, and the World Series is set. Blue Jays with an incredible game seven yesterday, defeated the Mariners. So they'll go on to face the Dodgers, who look absolutely unstoppable right now. I must admit, as a Yankee fan, I look at the Dodgers and they're everything I wish the Yankees were, right? But yeah. So we'll take a look at this year's World Series. I'll give you my predictions and what I expect from it. Um, then we'll talk about Ohtani's performance in the ALCS, absolutely historic. Yesterday's Game 7 game, and then we'll talk about the Yankees and what to expect from the Yankees in 2026, right? And I'll be honest, I don't expect much, but we'll get into that later. Then, of course, we'll get into the chat as always. But a look into last night's game, man. What a game. George Springer does it again with the absolute incredible home run. I mean, absolutely spectacular. And I won't lie, guys. A part of me is salty when watching these games. A part of me, it's like being dead inside. You know, I'm still not over the Yankees. The way we went out, I'm not over the season. I'm not over the way we just let the Blue Jays run right through us. And then the end of season press conference by Boone and Cashman didn't make Yankee fans feel any better. In my opinion. But look, we'll get into that after. But shout out to the Blue Jays. They're absolutely, they deserve it. I was going for the Mariners, me personally. I don't know how they let that one slip out of their hand. One swing could change everything. But that stadium was rocking, dude. Rocking. It makes me miss those moments for the Yankees, right? We have moments like that. If you're old enough to have witnessed some of the good years, the golden years of the Yankees, it makes you long for those big moments again. Obviously, that's not the case anymore, but what can you do, right? What can you do? But the Blue Jays got a tough look. They've been playing incredibly, right? They pretty much rolled through the whole American League, but now the ultimate test, right? The final boss is the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they are absolutely freaking clicking on all cylinders. I mean, Yamamoto's dealings, pitching like an ace. Freaking Roki Sasaki's looking like the closer from hell, right? This dude's just lights out as a closer. Shohei Ohtani is being Shohei Ohtani. You know, he's pitching like a GOAT, hitting like a GOAT. I mean, we'll get into the GOAT conversation too later. Freddie Freeman, they're clicking on all cylinders, man. They are so deep. They're gonna be a tough team to beat. And I'll be honest with you, right? The Dodgers, it sucks, right? As a Yankee fan, me personally, I'm a Yankees fan. We got the team that beat us last year and the team that beat us this year going up against each other in the World Series, right? So it sucks, right? But I'm going to pick a team who I want to win. And me personally, I want the underdog to win, which is the Blue Jays. Even though they beat the Yankees and they talked a lot of smack and the Yankees lose and all that nonsense, I want the Blue Jays to win this one, me personally. And why is my chat not working? Hold on, guys. Yeah, I don't know how you guys feel. Call me crazy being a Yankee fan, but yeah, I want the Blue Jays to win. But with that being said, do I think they will win? No. I mean, it is going to be tough. It is going to have to take a monumental upset, just the biggest comeback from an underdog ever for them to beat the Dodgers. I got the Blue Jays winning in 6. A lot of people saying sweep, maybe 5. I got them winning in 6. I mean, not the Blue Jays. I got the Dodgers winning in 6. The one thing the Blue Jays got going for them is they have home field advantage. But all the Dodgers got to do really is split one game at the Rogers Center, and they're good, man. They're good to go. Their rotation, man, with Blake Snell pitching the way he's pitching. Blake Snell is pitching like a Cy Young. They're just deep, man, all around. They just have their rotation is absolutely nuts. They got Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Yamamoto, and their fourth starter is Shohei Ohtani, who's absolutely lights out too, man. The dude, he had probably the most incredible postseason game I've ever seen. As a matter of fact, look, that was the greatest game I've ever seen by a player in my lifetime. In postseason or regular season, a pitcher giving you 10 strikeouts, going he went 7-8 innings and hitting 3 home runs. It's just absolutely incredible, man. The dude's a beast.
Ohtani then strikes out the side in the top of the first. And there goes Ohtani. Shohei.
Absolute monster.
Lighting up the highlights already. Now in the fourth. And a swing and a miss. Ohtani strikes him out on a splitter. Board.
Just crazy, man.
Oh my goodness. Shohei Ohtani. Wow. Up and over the roof.
Just
a majestic blast. Shohei.
Look, and I'll be honest, right? I still think Judge is the greatest hitter on this planet, right? But in terms of play, and I always said this, right? When Ohtani's pitching, he is the best player in the world. And right now he's pitching probably better than he's ever pitched. He's the best player on this planet right now, all around, man. He's pitching like an ace and hitting like Judge, right? He's pitching like Cole and hitting like Judge. It's two in one person. It's absolutely incredible. It's really incredible. The stuff we watching from him, from Shohei, the stuff we watching from Judge this year, it's just phenomenal, man. It's freaking crazy. It's really video game like. Like this is never. We probably will never see this again in our lifetime. I don't know. I want to pull up the chats, man. I'm gonna have to just read them. For some reason, it's not pulling up. Just pissing me off. What is going on with this thing? What is happening? Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this thing out. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, man, let me get to some of these comments real quick. Woken says, very dumb decision to pitch fastballs to Springer with runners on second and third. Yeah, man, that was the Mariners. I don't know what they was. I don't even know what happened with Munoz. Why they don't bring Munoz out there? Like, I don't know why they went to what's his name, Brazzardo, whatever. After him pitching in Game 6, he gave him 2 innings in Game 6. At a certain point, man, the dude, they used him too much. I feel like they used him too much. Not only fatigue, he was probably tired. And just after a while, if they seen the same pitches over and over, they're going to get to him eventually. And they did. Andrew says, what's up? Yeah, man. I want the Blue Jays to win, but I got the Dodgers winning the World Series. Man, I can't pull up the chat. This sucks. I don't know what's happening right now. But we're just going to have to roll with the punches. What is going on with this thing? All right. Jacob, what's up, Jacob? Commander Brantford, I know we're underdogs against the Dodgers, but hopefully we can make trouble for them. No, I think the key for the Blue Jays, right? The key for the Blue Jays is you just gotta stick. You gotta hit. I'll hit them. That's what you're gonna have to do, because the Dodgers are a tough team, man, and they got tough pitching. But if you can get to their pitchers, get to their starters, and hit them, I think you'll be all right. You're gonna have to outslug them. That's what I think. They're just too good. They're too deep all around. Just absolutely too deep. But I think it could happen, right? If anybody could beat them, I think it's probably the Blue Jays. You gotta take a hard look at what the Brewers did. The Brewers got swept, looked absolutely embarrassed. And the thing with the Brewers is they couldn't hit. They got absolutely dominated by Blake Snell, absolutely dominated by Yamamoto, absolutely dominated by Shohei. You got to hit them, right? If the Blue Jays can get to these guys and put runs on the board versus them and hit them and get to the bullpen, the key with the Dodgers is get to the bullpen ASAP. That is the key. That should be the whole Blue Jays game plan. Get to the bullpen, make them pitch, and then when you get to the bullpen, you that's where you can do damage. But if not, if you got Blake Snell giving you 7-8 innings, Shohei giving you 7-8 innings, Tyler Glasnow giving you 7, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And even though Roki Sasaki has looked good in the closer role, you can get to him, right? Because he almost blew a couple games, and the Brewers helped him out. So the Dodgers are the better team, but the Blue Jays can absolutely. There is a path to victory. There really is, and to me, I think it's doing what they did to everybody else, especially like what they did to the Yankees, and just outslug them and play good defense, and they should be okay if they do that. This chat is killing me. I can't get the chat highlight to work, so I won't be able to pull up anybody's chats. So I'm gonna have to just read them. Real Bill says, I said that the Blue Jays would win the division back in June. I think the Blue Jays win the World Series 4-2. That'd be crazy. 4-2. That'll be absolutely insane. I could see it happening though. The Blue Jays, look, that's one thing, man, that they can hit. They can hit, and they get production from their like 7, 8, 9 hitters, from the guys in the bottom of the lineup. They're getting incredible production. Oh, everybody in there is dangerous. You know, you got guys like Varsha who at any moment could go off. Barja at any moment could go off. Ernie Clement. All these guys, IKF can hit, right? I'm pretty sure Bo Bichette makes this roster. Even though I'm sure he's hurt, I'm not sure what he's going to give them, what kind of production he gives the Blue Jays, but I'm assuming that he will be on this roster, at least maybe to give him some at-bats or something. So, you know, that makes the lineup even deeper. Obviously, Vladdy, George Springer. It's that lineup for the Blue Jays is absolutely, they're good. And that's how they beat the Dodgers, right? That's how they're going to beat the Dodgers. Out-hit them, get to the bullpen early, and play good defense. And if they do that, I see them winning the World Series. Jake says, I can't see it happening. The Dodgers pitching is too good. Pitching is what wins. And that's why I said you got to beat the pitching. That's why you got to hit. If they can get to the bullpen early, the Dodgers bullpen is shaky, guys. So is the Blue Jays, though. But that's what I'm saying. If you can outslug them, if you can make this a slugfest, I think that the Blue Jays have the firepower to go blow for blow with the Dodgers. I do. What's up, Katie? Katie said, hey, yeah, David. What's up, David? Okay, the thing is working now for some reason. I don't know what's going on with my OBS, but yeah, so that's the World Series. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if they put out. Let me see something real quick. Oh, no, they haven't put it out. All right, so they haven't really announced the pitchers and stuff, but I'm sure that'll be coming in the next few days. This was yesterday's box score, 4-3. Tough loss for the Mariners. If you're a Mariners fan, I feel for you. You guys had a great season, man. Great season. And how many games have the Mariners lost with Kyle Riley and Julio Rodriguez hit a home run? Not many, right? Not many. I don't know why they didn't leave Kirby in longer. He looked like he was dealing. Yeah, I mean, one swing really changed that game. One swing, literally one swing, just flipped that whole game on its head. It's unfortunate, especially for the Mariners, man. They never been to the World Series, so it's tough. But they got a good team. And then obviously Shohei's performance, man. I want to play this. This is a short that I made. It's something that I saw on the MLB Network. They were saying, do you think this is the greatest postseason performance ever by a player? I don't know. Me personally, I think Don Larson's perfect game, being that it was a World Series game, and you pitch a perfect game, that's hard to do. I don't care what year it was. Shohei Ohtani hit 3 home runs, and while pitching, that actually happened twice before. Not in the postseason, but it actually happened twice before in Major League history, where a starting pitcher hit 3 home runs in a game. I mean, that's not taking anything away from Ohtani, right? Because he had 10 strikeouts. He was unhittable, and he hit 3 home runs. But it was a 3-0 game, right? A 3-0 series where not much was on the line. Me personally, I'm going to go with Don Larson's, but let's play this and then you guys let me know.
In terms of the greatest moments ever in postseason history, there's a lot to choose from, as Pete was alluding to. I mean, Don Larson back in 1956, the World Series in Game 5, the only perfect game in postseason history. He gave the Yankees a 3-2 series lead over Brooklyn. They'd win in 7. He was the World Series MVP. Sanford Koufax, 65 World Series Game 7. Complete game shutout, 10 Ks to clinch the World Series, allowed just 3 hits in the game against Minnesota. My pick's Bob Gibson. 1967 World Series Game 7. A complete game, 10 strikeouts, and a solo homer to clinch the World Series. He threw 3 complete games in the series. Reggie. 1977 World Series Game 6. 3 for 3. He swung at 3 pitches all day. All 3 were home runs. That game was 48 years ago today. 5 ribbies, 4 runs, and a walk to clinch the World Series. Albert Pujols, 5 for 6, 3 homers, 6 ribbies, 4 runs scored.
The next one is
total bases tied with Bob Robertson
I
for the most in a
remember
postseason game. His 5 hits tied for the most in a postseason game as well.
David Freese.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Joe Buck paying homage to his dad, Jack Buck. The game time
I'm not gonna lie,
triple
that David Freese postseason there was probably one of the
Series MVP after also winning NLCS
the most
MVP.
clutch
and then of course
performances
Shohei Ohtani.
ever.
In case you missed it, 3 home runs, 6 scoreless innings, and 10 strikeouts to clinch a World Series berth. He struck out 10 and hit 1,342 feet of home runs. The first player, 3 or more homers and 10 or more strikeouts in one game in the regular season.
Crazy. Anyway, man, that David Freese, I remember that October he had, man. This dude, he was so clutch. It was crazy. But Katie says she feels like Seattle was robbed. I mean, you gotta explain how do you think they were robbed? You can't do nothing about that. The dude hit a 3-run home run. It's tough. I think that the manager kind of overmanaged. You know, I think he messed up. He messed up there. It's tough. It happens. But I don't think they were robbed, so to say. Like, to get robbed, like if it was a bad umpire call or something like that, I don't think so, man. The guy hit a 3-run home run. What are you gonna do? Real Bill says in 1978, his best friend was Bob Welch, struck out Reggie Jackson. It's the game, but came back to, yeah. I mean, look, like I said, the Dodgers are going to be the heavy favorites, but I think that there is a path for victory for the Blue Jays. And then with all this being said, I'm not going to lie. As a Yankee fan, there's a part of me that's broken right now. Obviously we've been through a lot of losses, right? Especially the last 25 years. So it's not nothing new, but this year felt a little harsher, man, because, when you look back at it, you think about, man, we just needed 1 game to win the division and maybe things are different. And just the way we went out, and Judge finally coming through with the big time home runs, and everything. It's just, this team has gotten soft. And I'm not going to lie, the end of season press conference with Boone and Cashman, it left me with the sour taste. Like, it really left me really bitter. Obviously, I wanted Boone gone and Cashman gone. They're not, but we knew that kind of wasn't going to happen, right? But them coming, let's switch to the next topic, right? So will the Yankees change in 2026? But just the way they talk, though, like, especially Cashman. Cashman is so condescending. Like, he just gives me just this vibe that I just don't like him. I really don't. It is way past time for especially Cashman to be gone. I don't care how good. And the thing is, I don't think he's a bad GM. He's a good GM, but I think he's lost touch. He's outdated. The league has moved on from guys like him. It's different. He doesn't know how to win. He doesn't know how to win in 2025 or whatever, He doesn't know how to put together a winning roster. And I don't want to hear all that crapshoot stuff and all that. Look, we're the New York Yankees. The same thing the Dodgers are doing, the Yankees could be doing. The Yankees could do it. The Yankees could go out and get any player they want. They could sign any player they want. They don't, though. They could trade for any player they want. They don't do that. And we don't look. I mean, 16 years of doing the same stuff over and over and over. the same thing over and over and losing over and over and over. Like, what do you expect? And I have a feeling, and I'll be honest, guys, I don't think much is going to change next year. I really feel like next year they're going to run it back. They're going to run it back. They might get, I would hope they bring back Bellinger at the very least, right? But aside from that, the only new faces that we might see are maybe some small signings here and there and some guys from the farm, maybe a Spencer Jones or who knows, right? I don't think they do much. I think, and Boone, well, maybe not Boone, but Cashman even said himself, like, they feel like they had some successes. Like they were successful. They didn't win ultimately the ultimate prize, which is to win the World Series, but they feel like it was a success of a season. And that kind of mindset is what's wrong with the Yankees. That's what's wrong with the Yankees. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's heartbreaking, man. It hurts me. Like, I'm watching these games. I love baseball, so I'm gonna watch it. And don't get me wrong, Game 7 yesterday, that whole series with the Mariners and Blue Jays was just it was great, man. It was good baseball. It was very fun to watch. And for a person who's not a fan of neither of those teams, I was in the games. Like I was really into it. That's how good they were. But deep down, it's like, man, as a Yankee fan, it's like, come on, what are we doing? And our team, I'm not gonna lie, look, and as a fan, I feel like as a fan, you guys in the chat and the Yankees fans, man, we did our part. We've been doing our part. We show up, Hal. Every year we show up. We pack the stadium out, 40,000 a night, whether they playing the Dodgers or whether they playing the Colorado Rockies. You're going to have 40,000 plus people, sellouts every night at Yankee Stadium. I'm buying the merch, right? You see, I'm always buying Yankee stuff. We spending the money. We're doing everything that the fan is supposed to do. And our team, our management, our leaders of the Yankees, they in return, they treat us like we're shit, man. That's what really hurts me the most. That's what really, really hurts me the most. The fact that they sat there at the end of the season and gave us 45 an hour of straight BS, because that's all that was. Straight gaslighting the hell out of this team. The owner who's nowhere to be found. I don't know where he's at. They don't care about us, guys. That's how I take it. And don't get me wrong, I love the team. I'm a Yankees fan. I'm always root for the Yankees, but I don't love the ownership. I don't love I appreciate the sub, man. I don't love the manager. I don't even love most of the players, a lot of these players, to be honest. But I just want change, man. The Yankees got to change something. They really need to do a complete overhaul, and they got to start from the top, right? Every year we get a whole batch of new players, and every year we have the same outcome. The same outcome. We lose and it's funny because it's like every year we lose the same way, right? We lose the same way every year. We just can't hit. We can't get timely hitting when it matters. And the pitching is not good enough every year. It doesn't. It's just crazy. But what are you going to do, man? What are you going to do? It sucks, though. And a part of me, I can't wait. Right, my birthday's here. My birthday's coming up in a few days, and it sucks when the Yankees are not playing. That means that we're out of it. Obviously, I just can't wait for baseball to be over this year already. And as crazy as that sounds, I can't wait for this World Series to be done, get it over with, so that we officially in the off season, and I could just move on. Hey, because this is torture, man. This is torture. This is what this is as a fan, and I get it. A lot of other fan bases will be like, oh, well, what do you think? Look at the Mariners. They never even been to a World Series. Or look at this team. They never win. And I get it. I understand that, man. But as a Yankees fan, I feel like we have all the resources to do whatever we want. We have all the resources to get any player we want. to do all kinds of moves. The Yankees could do so much. They could be a powerhouse if they really wanted to, and they don't, right? And then the way they talk to the fans and they treat us, right? I mean, it's tough being a Yankees fan, and I wouldn't expect let's say a Chicago White Sox fan, if you're out there listening to this. You're probably like, what's the big deal? At least you guys made it to the playoffs every year and all that. I wouldn't expect you to understand, but this front office, man, they talk to us like we're stupid. They literally gaslight us, feed us nonsense, sell us a dream, and in the end, it's for nothing, And we got the best player, the best hitter in the world right now, in Aaron Judge, and it's just going to waste, man. It's going to waste. It really is. It really, really is. And next year, you want to be optimistic about next year, but next year they'll do the same thing as this year. They'll be just good enough to make it to the postseason, but not good enough to actually win anything meaningful. And this team, look, we like to say, hey, well, this team, they had they were tied for first and everything, but this team wasn't that good. The 2025 Yankees, guys, whether you like it or not, and whether you want to believe it or not, the numbers don't lie. The 2025 Yankees were not good. They were not a good team. Look, in 2025, the teams over 500, we were 45 and 44, just barely 500, right? Over teams versus 500. Last year, the 2024 Yankees, who even I believed that this year's team was better than last year's team. I'm here to tell you guys we weren't. We may think like that because maybe we played better defense this year and ran the bases a little better, but we weren't better than 2024's team. 2024's team versus teams over 500, they were 55 and 38, right? Remember, 2025 Yankees versus winning teams were 45 and 44, barely 500. In 2024, we were 55 and 38. In 2023, the year that we didn't make the playoffs, we were 47 and 46. The 2023 team, I get it. This team obviously was a lot better than that team, but not by much. Look, the 2025 Yankees, we were a great bad team beater, if that makes any sense. We did great versus bad teams. That's when you look at the run differential and you're like, man, this run differential makes no sense. It does make sense when you see it. Is when when you're blowing out bad teams but can't beat good teams, the run differential is going to be in your favor. And they're gonna run it back. That's the craziest thing that this Yankees team, they don't learn, man. They're stuck. I don't know what. I really think that the Cashman more than anyone, he is so out of touch with reality and with the fan base, with his own fan base. They're out of touch with baseball in general. What's happening now? The whole Yankees organization, we're out of touch. We're so far behind the curve. It's crazy. We're supposed to be ahead of everything, the most advanced analytics, and we're not. Teams have surpassed us in every aspect of the game. I'm talking about in analytics, right, in scouting, and in everything, in player development, in everything. Teams have lapsed us already. And I really think it's Cashman's one. And Cashman to sit there and tell you, well, we good. Yeah, well, guess what? When you spend $300 million every year, and you got the greatest hitter on the planet on your team, yeah, you're going to make the playoffs. You better make the playoffs, right? But that's about it. That's as far as you go. Jonathan says, therapy, Jason. I need as much as I can get. Oh, yeah, man. This is my therapy right here, John. I'm not going to lie. I've been thinking about it. I wanted to go on yesterday, but I was like, I'm going to watch the game. I'm still hurting. I'm not over this season yet. I will be honest with you. And that's why I'm hoping. I can't wait for this World Series to be done because I feel like maybe that'll give me some closure. But I'm not. And Boone and Cashman's press conference made it even worse for me. Anyway, I don't know how you guys feel. For me, it made me feel even worse as a Yankee fan. It really did. Cashman, I lost, and I used to have a lot of respect for him. I lost a lot of respect. He's so condescending. Like he like who do you think you are, dude? Who do you think you are? Like the fact that he's been there so long, I really feel like he doesn't feel like there's any consequence. And I don't know how the Steinbrenner family lets him get away with it. Dude, you don't go out there talking to your fan base like that and talking to the reporter like all snarky and then go on WFAN, and I don't know. I think Boone more than Cashman felt more like trying to kind of understanding, of the fans and I think Boone knows that he's like, man, this ain't good. 8 years, I haven't won anything. It's not good. I think Boone understands that. Cashman, I don't think he understands that. Cashman, he to me, he seems like a guy who's very secure about his job. He's looking at us. Everybody else, he's one of those guys that everybody else is crazy. He's looking at everybody else like we're dumb. Everybody else is dumb but him. And it really makes me feel like the Yankees have gotten to a point where if you have any other opinion of how they're doing and how they should be running things or anything, they get rid of you. The only people around Cashman are people who agree with Cashman. That's it. And that's a problem. That is a big problem. And then Hal Steinbrenner, I don't know where the hell Hal is. Hal is I don't know. Who knows, right? It's just sad, man. I'm not gonna lie. It really is. It's disheartening, man. It gets me upset. It gets me upset. I'm to the point, look, like I wanted to go buy a hat, right? And I haven't gone because usually I'll buy a Yankee hat. I have some other teams' hats, like I have a Padres hat, maybe, and stuff. And that's because somebody gave it to me. But I always get a Yankees hat, no matter what color, whatever it is. And I don't think I am. I think I'm gonna get a minor league team or something. I'm not. I don't want to give them no more of my money. They already get most of my time. I'm not buying no more hats or jerseys or nothing. I'd rather go support an affiliate team, right? It don't even have to be the Yankees, as long as it's not, I don't care. I'm just not gonna buy Yankee stuff, man. Not for a while, I think. So when I do go buy my next hat, I wanted to get a black hat, a black and white one, right? I might just, it's not gonna be a major league hat. I'm gonna have to get maybe a basketball team or maybe a minor league affiliate team. That's what I'm gonna do because I have to start doing something, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna do my part, man. They're not getting much more of my money. That's for sure. Luis Duran says, what's up? What's up? Katie says she wants the Jays to lose, picking the Dodgers. No, I can't. I can't. You know what's sad, Katie? I'm glad you brought that up. And I brought this earlier. You got the Dodgers who beat us last year. And then after the series, talk so much crap about the Yankees. I mean, they went on and if you thought the Blue Jays were bad with the Yankees lose, that is nothing compared to what the Dodgers went on podcast. They talked about it all year on how we weren't good. I don't know. Both of these teams have disrespected the Yankees so much, man. Both teams that are in the World Series. And this is what I don't understand. I don't understand how Cashman can sit there on his throne. Because, look, let's be honest, right? Hal doesn't run this team. Cashman run this team. Cashman is in charge. He is in the driver's seat. I don't know how Cashman sits there. And I don't even judge. I don't know me because I'm competitive. I would be so furious right now. Or Boone or any of these guys. I would be, even as a fan right now, I'm so furious. I can't believe that we're just, we're a joke. The Yankees are a joke. The greatest team in sports history, greatest franchise in sports history, or was the greatest. Now we're not, right? Whatever we did 20 years ago, they don't even count that no more. Not even 20 years ago. 20, 30 years ago, 100 years ago, it doesn't count anymore. I don't know how House sits up there, how Cashman sits up there, how Boone could sit at home and watch the game, how Judge, I bet you Judge ain't even watching the games. I can almost guarantee he's not even watching this because it'll make him sick to his stomach. I don't know how this organization just, and how can you walk and think, with your head high and think that you're good. The process, right? Cashman's always talking about this stupid process. We like our process. What process, man? Let me know what's the process, right? How long should it take to win a World Series? Is it 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 16 years, 25 years? How long is this process, right? Cashman got to go, man. He's a loser, guys. I'm sorry. He has a loser's mentality. I could see it in him. The fact that he always wants to bring up the Astros, I get it, right? They cheated in 2017. We all know it. But guess what? Get over it, dude. That was 2017, right? 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 9 years ago. We're going 10 years ago, dude. 10 years ago. And you couldn't get it done. Last year, we had the Dodgers celebrate on our field. The year before that, we didn't even make the playoffs. This year, we had the Blue Jays celebrate on our field. In 2022, the year before we didn't make the playoffs, we had the Astros celebrate on our field when we got swept in the ALCS at home. Guys, and I hate it when people say, well, what are you talking about? Like Michael Kay, and I love Michael Kay too. He's one of my favorites, but lately he's been pissing me off too. When he says, well, what do you mean it's not a successful season? They made it to the division series. And last year, how was last year not a successful season? They made it to the World Series. I'm like, my guy, every year ends in disaster. Okay? It's like, yeah, we made it to the World Series and we weren't even competitive, guys. It was disaster. Disastrous. The most embarrassing probably ever in history. This year, the same thing. Disastrous division series. The year before that, we didn't make it to the playoffs. The year before that was a disaster. We got swept by the Astros in the ALCS. It's constantly, what are you talking about, man? It's just constantly over and over, year after year after year after year, and nothing changes. That's the most maddening part, guys. I know I'm kind of ranting now. The most frustrating, the most maddening, that makes me want to rip the little bit of hair I have left on my head, is the fact that they do it again and over and over. It's like, my goodness, dude, it's not working. Please. Like, what are we doing? This is getting crazy. It's not working, Yankees. It's not. Dude, it's not. At some point, you gotta know when to say, you know what, we were wrong. We gotta rethink the way we're doing this. A different approach. Well, they don't do that. Their process, the Yankees truly believe that their process is better than every other team, that they're on another level. Their status quo is above everybody else. And I'm sorry, this is a diehard, lifelong Yankee fan saying this. It's not, guys. It's not. We're a joke. Our process is not good enough. Okay? Whatever process they talking about, it ain't good. The only reason why we keep making it so far every year and making it to the playoffs is because we have the best player in the world, in terms of offensive player in the world, in Aaron Judge, and we spend $300+ million every year. We're gonna be good enough. We're gonna be good enough to get to the playoffs, and that's about it. Because once we face a good team, every year, this is evident every single year, guys. Every single year, once we run into a good team, they got their I don't want to curse, they got their sugar honey iced tea together, we fail, man. We look ridiculous. It's every year. Like, it's not even a 1 year thing, a last year thing, a this year thing. This is every year for the last 10 years, I would say. We've just, we're just not good enough, man. We're just not. We have not been. There's not 1 year that I could say that we were the best team in baseball. I can't remember the last time where I felt like, man, our team is truly the best team in baseball. Like, nobody's better than us. No. Every year we might tell ourselves, well, we might say, yeah, we've been the best team in baseball the last 30 days, right? Or something like that. But that's always true, you know. It's sad. It's sad. They're not gonna change anything. They really aren't. So guess what? I don't know. And I'll tell you why. The thing that makes me more sad is that we're not changing, right? And other teams are getting better. Other teams are getting better. And this year was just an embarrassment, for real. This year, more than even the losing the World Series, this year was more of an embarrassment. We could not beat the Blue Jays to save our life. We could not beat good teams, period. We struggled, you know. And when you think about it, man, our offense isn't that good. You know, yeah, everybody loves to say, "Oh, the offense is not the problem. They scored 18 runs the other day." And yeah, you're gonna score 18 runs when you're facing a pitcher who should probably be in Double-A. You know, when you're facing one of these bad teams, you're gonna put up runs. They can't get it done in the big moments. They can't get it done. We won. We were lucky to win one game. Think about this, guys. We won one game in the division series this year, got smashed every other. And even the one game we won, it was purely Aaron Judge. That's it. The year before that versus the Dodgers, we won one game. We won game 4, and that was purely only because the Dodgers just threw out. They pretty much pitched the bottom of the barrel bullpen pitchers, right? And that's it. But besides that, we got embarrassed. We were outmatched that whole series. The same way we was outmatched this whole division series. The year before that, we didn't make it. In 2022 versus the Astros, we got outmatched, outclassed a whole ALCS. We got swept 4 games in a row. Remember that? People don't bring that up, right? I think a lot of people forgot about that. We always think about last year's World Series and then not making the playoffs the year before that. But remember the year before the year that we didn't make the playoffs, how we got swept in the ALCS at home, right? So our last 3 postseasons, the Yankees' last 3 postseasons resulted in embarrassment and the opposing team celebrating in Yankee Stadium on our field. And so I don't know, guys, not good enough. But let me know who you guys think, who you guys got, especially all my Yankee fans, right? But I have a lot of you are not Yankee fans. I want to know who you going for, right? If you're going for anybody. Me personally, with all that being said, and with all the smack talk that I've heard from Blue Jay fans this year, I want the Blue Jays to win. I'm a sucker for the underdog. I love an underdog story, especially versus the Dodgers, the mighty Dodgers. Look, the Dodgers are supposed to win this, hands down. But I think the Blue Jays have a chance, but they're gonna have to outstick them. They just gotta out-hit them. That's what I think. So I'm going for the Blue Jays. Let me know who you're going for, and I'd understand if you're going for the Dodgers. Cool. And it's a lot of you guys out there, a lot of Yankee fans who's not going for anyone. They're like, you know what? I'm not even gonna watch this, and I understand that too. Excuse me. Whoa. I understand that too. Blaze says Joe Sherman says Harper staying in Philly is not a given. It's not a given. So I don't know if you know what's going on, right? The owner, was it the owner or the GM? It was the owner, I believe. He said pretty much he made a comment about Bryce Harper that was it came out of left field. He pretty much saying, you know, Harper isn't the elite player he used to be, or something like that. I'd be surprised if they trade Harper. You know, sometimes Harper has a no trade clause. First of all, I'm pretty sure he does. I'm almost certain he can't get traded unless he wants to. Sometimes when an owner says something like that about a player, it's because they want out of that deal, you know? They might want out of the deal. The same way Jordan Montgomery, right? I don't know if you remember, before this season started, Jordan Montgomery, he was a disaster. The Diamondbacks signed him to a 2-year deal. No, they signed him to a one. It was they signed him to a 2-year deal, but Jordan Montgomery had to opt out after the first year. He had a 6 ERA, so he didn't opt out. They were stuck paying him $25+ million, and they didn't want him. And the Diamondbacks the Diamondbacks owner, literally before the season, he went in a press conference and said that signing Jordan Montgomery was the worst decision their organization has ever made. And why would you say something about that with a player who's still on your roster? It's because you don't want him there. You want him, and they had a no trade clause. So you want him to be as uncomfortable as possible so that way he can accept a trade or ask for a trade, So it could be that. Could be. Maybe they want out of the whole Bryce Harper deal. I don't know, right? Who knows? I don't know. Would you want Bryce Harper? The thing is, I wanted Bryce Harper years ago. Would I take him now? Yeah. But what is he going to cost? I don't know. He's still a great player. He's one of the best players in the league. I would say I don't know about top 10, but for sure top 20. I still think he has a lot left in him, and he's clutch. He is clutch. Real Bill says he's going to be watching the WBC. Yeah, I can't wait for that. But we are ways away from that. Jake says, I don't know, honestly. I think this year's team was solid. The AL was wide open. No one had a crazy edge. This year's team wasn't solid, man. The numbers don't lie, dude. I'm going to give it to you again. Our record versus teams over 500. Our record versus teams over 500 was 45-44. Right? That's a 500 team right there. Last year, our record versus team over 500 was 55-38. And I'm going down the years. Every season that we had a decent team, every season we had a good team, that record versus teams over 500 is good. And every year that we had a bad team, I'm looking at the last 10 years, it was bad. In 2023, when we didn't make the playoffs, we were 47-46. Right? We didn't make the playoffs in 2023. That was 2023. This year, we're 45-44. We weren't, look, guys, we were a good team. Here's the thing, right? I'm going to give you a boxing analogy. And I always say this. When you see a boxer, sometimes, because I used to follow boxing heavy when I was younger. And certain fighters look great versus other fighters, right? And then you put them in a ring with somebody who can really, really fight. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. I see what you're seeing now. Yeah, when the Yankees face the Pirates, when they face the White Sox, when they face the Orioles, when they face, I don't know, what other team, or even like the Brewers to open the series before the Brewers got good. When they face bad teams, they absolutely shine. They look like, oh my God, like you get excited, right? Because they're hitting home runs. They're off the charts. But when they face better teams or better pitching, that's when you're like, oh, okay. They get exposed. Like, this team wasn't that good, guys. Let's be honest. See, here's the thing, Jake. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to pull your comment back up. Here's the thing. This is what Cashman believes. You say, I don't know. Honestly, I think this year's team was solid. This is what Cashman and the Yankees believe, right? They think that this team was, they were solid. If every team in the league was the Rockies and the White Sox and the Orioles and if every team in the league was that, then yeah, by all means, we were great, right? But no, we could not. Versus good teams, we struggled. Even in the wild card series, we barely made it out that wild card series. If it wasn't for Cam Schlittler's crazy performance, we were not gonna even. We should have got eliminated in the wild card. To be honest, in hindsight, when I think about it, and I went back and watched these games too, especially that game, that one with Cam Schlittler, I went back and watched that game all over again. The Cam Schlittler one, right? Where he pitched his ass off. That game, we could not hit that kid early. We couldn't even hit him. We couldn't hit him. If you look at every hit that was hit in that inning where we scored 4 runs, it was all ground balls just barely making it past the infield. It was nothing spectacular. The game before that, Jazz Chisholm's crazy play and slide at home saved the Yankees. The Yankees weren't that good, guys. I'm sorry. Like, don't let them trick you, because that's what they want you to believe. So when they run it back next year, Jake, and I'm not picking on you, when they run it back next year, are you going to be happy? This team was solid, right? 2025 Yankees was solid. So then you should be okay with them bringing you back the same team next year. It was Cashman reminds me of the Wizard of Oz before the dog. Yeah, man, it's nice. It's all smoke and mirrors. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Dev. I'm done, but I'm sad because 2 years ago I lost my dad. That sucks, man. I don't even know. I lost my dad when I was like 1 year old, so I don't even. I don't feel any like anything because I don't have any memory of my father. So to me, it doesn't matter, you know. But I'm sorry to hear that, Dev. Blaze, Cashman, at least we made the playoffs. That's good enough. We're making money. Yeah, man. Lou says Dodgers not taking on a Tucker contract. Shoot, why not? I don't see why wouldn't they, especially if he's willing to defer a lot of that money. Let me tell you something, man. Right now, and this is perfect. We could get into that whole we can get into the whole lockout talk and stuff like that. What's happening here? Look, if the Dodgers go, let's say the Dodgers win this year, and then go out this offseason and sign Kyle Tucker, and stuff. And look, I'm not even mad at the Dodgers because they doing what I wish the Yankees would do. The rules are said they're not breaking any rules. These are MLB's rules. They're not breaking any of the rules, right? They're playing within, and they're like, hey, you know what? I don't care. We'll pay the luxury tax. We'll pay the Pirates and the Rays and the Marlins. We'll give them an extra $100 million. We don't care. We just want the best players. You know, the Yankees don't do it. Look, the Dodgers won the World Series last year and then went and signed Blake Snell. Did they need Blake Snell? Probably not, right? They went and signed Tanner Scott, Kirby Yates. Even though those guys didn't pan out for them, they went and got them, though, the best guys out there in the market in terms of relievers and pitchers. They're doing. The Yankees don't do nothing. The Yankees don't do nothing. I get it. Yeah, they went and signed Max Fried. He wasn't even the best pitcher in the market, though. That's what I'm saying. And even in the trade deadline, look, I was happy with Cashman's trade deadline because it was a good trade deadline. But when I think about it, it wasn't a phenomenal trade deadline. It wasn't like, yo, we're going all in. It wasn't a Yankees deadline. It wasn't a George Steinbrenner move. It was you know, why don't the Yankees go and get the best players available like we used to? You know, in the trade deadline, you see the Padres, even though it didn't work out for the Padres, they went and got Mason Miller. They went in and the big things. You see the Phillies, they're like, you know what, we're going to get Duran. Even though it didn't work out for them either. You know, we win and we got good pitchers, but they weren't the top guys, right? Like, same thing with the free agency market. We didn't get the top guys. You know, we signed Max Fried, but I would say Blake Snell. And Blake Snell was there for the taking. The Yankees could have been signed him. We could have signed him even before he signed that 1-year deal with the Giants. You know? The Dodgers take risks, man. The Dodgers are smart. The Yankees are dumb. Let's face it. You can't really be mad at the Dodgers for what they're doing. You really can't. Because the Yankees could do the same thing, but they don't, and they're dumb. And then when they do try to do it, they do it with the wrong players. Look, you want to know something crazy? You know, the Dodgers signed Blake Snell, right? They got him that crazy contract with a whole bunch of deferred money and cool. But guess what? You know who's also paying the Dodgers this year? The Giants. The Giants paid the Dodgers $17 million or something like that this year just to watch them pitch against them, right? I don't know. I think the Yankees have lost their way, man. And the only thing, look, and I get it. The next guy who comes in might be worse than Cashman, might be worse than Boone, but we need something. We got to change something. We can't keep doing the same stuff. We can't keep doing this every year. It's not working. We never get the best guy out there anymore. You know, Cashman loves getting it. Not the top guy, not the maybe the third best guy, but that's not cutting it. We need more than that. We saw this postseason, right? Judge needs help. He needs help around him. He really does. And whether we like it or not, and I'm gonna bring up the name Juan Soto. That's where Juan Soto was so important to this team, because he was another guy who could get it done. You know, another guy who's a huge threat at the plate. We don't have anybody else who's a real threat, a legitimate threat, like a oh shit, we gotta face this guy threat. Besides Judge, you know, and that's what made the duo so great. Cody Bellinger's not that. Even if you go sign Kyle Tucker, he's not that. It's just not, you know. But you look at the Dodgers, right? The Dodgers have that. The Dodgers have Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, Mookie Betts, even though he wasn't the same this year, but even just those two names right there, right? Every good team has two studs that get it done. The Yankees don't. We only have Judge. The Blue Jays, right? George Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., right? They're two stars showing up. You look at the Mariners, Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Riley. See where I'm going with this? And you look at the Yankees, Aaron Judge, and that's it. There is nobody else. Last year we had Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Even though Aaron Judge didn't do much in the postseason, but we had Giancarlo Stanton who stepped up to the plate. You need those two. You need somebody else. We need somebody else, another heavy hitter. I want Cody Bellinger back on the Yankees, but he is not that guy. He's just bad. We need him just to fill the team out, to round it out good, and he plays all the positions. But we need another offensive super threat. Kyle Tucker's good, and I know he hits the ball very hard, and his numbers should be better than they are. I don't think he's the super threat like that, and I'm not sure there is anybody out there to be a super threat. I don't know. You know, maybe the Yankees get that guy Okamoto, the Japanese guy. I don't know much about him, but from everything I've seen, he looks like he'll be a good fit. But we don't know either about that, you know. And even then, I don't think that gets us done. The Yankees are so far, right? The Yankees are so far from the finished product, from a winning team, that we're further than we even thought. That's what I think. The Yankees are further than they even thought. I think they think that they're there, but they're not. When you look at teams like the Dodgers or even the Blue Jays, their lineup is so much better than our lineup. I'm talking about so much better. If somebody pulled up Kyle Schwarber, he'll be great, man. But the thing is, first of all, he's a DH, and we ain't got room there. So RC Cola said, if there's salary floor and ceiling, it works. If there's a salary floor and a ceiling, it works. Be better for the sport. Probably won't happen though. Look, the owners want a ceiling. The players want a floor. Look, I don't know. I think my thing is this. I don't want to cap. You know why I don't want to cap a salary cap? Because even if you get a salary cap, is the Dodgers are so smart. They played it off lovely because they already signed it. Even if they said tomorrow, after the season, they said, no, we're putting a salary cap. Enough is enough. But guess what? They've already spent their money. They're grandfathered in. So they're still going to have Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Snell, Yamamoto. So they're still going to have all these players. They're not going anywhere. They're good. Tanner Scott. Eventually, Tanner Scott is going to be good again, right? I can't believe that he just was bad and that's it. You know, eventually he's going to be good again. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the Dodgers, a salary cap will benefit the Dodgers for at least the next 5 years, right? Because nobody else will we be able to compete. Right now, at least I know, right, the Dodgers have this super team, but I know that the Yankees, if they really want to, they could spend the money and build a super team too. You look at a team like the Padres, they went crazy and tried to make their own super team. even though soon they're going to be selling because they can't afford it. All these players they got. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to, offload some of these contracts. Like maybe a Tatis Jr. becomes available at some point because they can't afford it. Right now, the Padres are spending more than they make at this point. So something's got to give with them. But here's the thing. Even with that being said, like we got Soto last year, and you saw we made it to even if a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. becomes available, even if a guy like that all of a sudden becomes available, you think the Yankees are gonna take that? Do you think they're gonna go all in and get that guy? I don't know, man. Even Juan Soto, I think the Juan Soto thing, I think that was a Cashman move. I don't think it was I think that was a Hal Steinbrenner move. I don't think it was a Cashman move. I don't. Could we trade for Ketel Marte? I mean, to me, anybody's available. Everybody, for the right players, teams will make a trade, If your name's not like Aaron Judge or Shohei Ohtani or somebody's, everybody's is tradable for the right package, right? I know everybody's talking about Tarek Skubal. I don't know. And then people talking about Tarek Skubal, but nobody really wants to get a guy like Tarek Skubal. You're going to have to give up all your best prospects and then some, That's just how it works. For 1 year rental, I don't know if the Yankees would really do that. I think it's worth it, especially if he's willing to sign an extension. Where he says, you're right, we can't even carry each other. We can't keep a hitting team going. Yeah, we can't. We need another super threat in the lineup, and we don't have that. And I like Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is a good player, but he is not a threat. He is not a super threat where teams don't want to face this guy. They'll pitch him all day, Cody Bellinger. And Kyle Tucker's a good player. He's a threat, but he's not a super threat like that either, to me. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the Yankees do. I don't expect much, though. I really don't. I don't expect much from this team, unfortunately. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope I hope Cashman goes out there and Hal opens up the checkbook and they say, you know what? Enough is enough. Like they did in 2009, right? And say, you know what? Who's the best players out there? We're going to get him. What's the best players on the trade market? Who's available? Tarek Skubal? Send him over this way, something like that. But because this team needs a lot of help. They really don't. Blaze says Okamoto won't be posted. I kind of figured that because he plays for the Giants, and the Giants don't ever post anybody from what I read. So if he won't be posted, I don't want Murakami. I'm good on that. I'll pass. So I don't think baseball will be gone for 2 years. I don't think they'll let that happen. If they do, it'll be crazy, man. I don't think that will happen. I think a lockout will happen, and maybe we miss half a season, at the most, I think. I don't think they'll let it go a full season or even 2 years is crazy, man. I think the NHL did something like that a whole season. That'd be crazy. Crazy, crazy. RC says trade for Fernando Tatis. Yeah, if he comes, and I'm just speaking high. I'm not saying that he's available. I'm saying that he could be available because the Padres, their payroll don't make sense. Like they don't make enough money to afford all these contracts that they have. So we'll see. We will see. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to text my wife. Yeah, but that'd be crazy. That'd be great if we can get a guy like Tatis. That's what we need. That's what this team needs. We need another big time player, another big time threat, like a Tatis or somebody, even if they saying Bryce Harper, maybe, I don't know. I don't think so, but if they have we need another big time player, another threat, another somebody else that they could some more firepower in this lineup. You know, obviously Stanton. I don't think Stanton has it anymore. You can't rely. He had a great postseason last year. This year, complete opposite. Absolutely terrible. So you can't rely on that. You need somebody, man, who's going to deliver, who's not named Judge. For real. Hold on. What is it? Roy says, just another maybe wild card spot. Boston is going to build better, and I think it's going to be sad next year. 2020 will be better. And you know what's crazy? That Boston, they were playing without their best player, Roman Anthony. So imagine if he's playing good. They have another guy who is hurt. Boston has a good team. The Blue Jays, we already know that the Blue Jays, look, their lineup is deep. Their lineup is good. If they can somehow, right, if they can stay healthy next year and go out there and get another pitcher or two, you know, make a few signings, they're dangerous too. You know, I've always said that a lot of players were kind of reluctant to sign with the Blue Jays, right? Because, you know, it's the whole Canada thing and it's all the way over there and the money's different, the tax is different. I think, look, they made the World Series, right? More teams are going to want to play with them. And they're a few pieces away from being a super duper stacked team. And we're stuck in a division with them, right? They went from last to first, guys, and they pretty much the same team they were last year, almost. And they went from last place to first place. And here we are, the Yankees. Went from the World Series to barely squeezing out the wild card. You know, it's I don't know, man. The Yankees, man, they should be ashamed of themselves. I really do believe. I don't understand how they have no shame, how they're not embarrassed, how they seem to be okay. I get it. I didn't expect them to go out there and scream and shout and flip tables at a press conference, or even to give us much of an idea of what their game plan is. But the undertone, like reading between the lines, and just you could kind of see that they don't care. They were only doing that press conference because it was required from them. It was demanded. I'm pretty sure they were like, we got to show our face. You know, we just can't hide till next year. Like Hal Steinbrenner is gonna do. But now that they did their little press conference, we're not gonna hear from these guys. So maybe the winter meetings, and even that, Cashman's gonna he don't want to deal with us. I don't know. Team is sad, man. Sad. I feel bad for Aaron Judge. The Yankees don't surround him with great players. Yeah, man. I feel bad for him too. But you know what? Aaron Judge, the thing with him, he gets me upset too. And not really, he did his part. But you could tell that he's kind of like, you know, he's kind of like, oh, like I'm doing my part, whatever, you know. Until he demands, he needs to, I don't know, maybe behind the scenes, we don't even have to know about it. He needs to have a private meeting with Hal, him and Cole and Cashman or somebody, and be like, look, let's freaking win, guys. Let's go out there and win. Enough is enough, right? Enough is enough. Let's go out there and get the best players available and let's freaking win this thing. And get it over. Get that monkey off our back. But I don't know. I think they're good. It'd be a shame, you know, it's gonna be a shame if Judge goes out, man, without a ring. A crying, it's almost criminal for that man to not win at least one championship, you know. And you know what's gonna happen? That Cashman's gonna say, well, you know, 2017 and 2017, man, look, get over it, guy. Get over it. For real. Us as fans, we've gotten over it. Get over it, Cashman. Put it together a winning freaking team. Stop playing games. And to me, I'll be honest, I don't think he can. I don't think he's capable of doing it. I think that he's so arrogant. He's so stuck in his ways. He looks like one of those people who is just, you can't tell him nothing. He knows it all. Especially a guy who's been there 30 years. 30 years, right? Every time the fan base or somebody or Joe Sherman asks him a question or about a decision he made or something, he looks at us like, how dare us question him? How dare us? How dare you question Brian Cashman? He's been doing this 30 years, over 30 years. He's been the GM 30 years, but he's been in the Yankees front office for like 40 years or something like that. So he's been with this organization damn near 40 years. He pretty much, I'm telling you, man, his tentacles runs through that whole organization. I'm talking about even I bet you even the way they serve the food, man, the chicken buckets, the hot dogs they selling, has some kind of involvement in everything. That's how he's been there 40 years, guys, 40 freaking years. Aaron Judge isn't helping himself either. Yeah, and you know, in the past years he didn't help himself. Like last year specifically, but this year he showed up in a huge way. But Aaron Judge came to the party by himself this year. Nobody else was there. Nobody. I mean, nobody. And you know what's crazy? We didn't hit. Think about it, guys. We didn't hit in the wild card either. That's why I said we were lucky. We were lucky to even win the wild card. We were lucky to win that series. It's not like we smashed like we did anything great. We really didn't. We didn't hit that series at all either. Think about it, guys. Like, how many times did we have bases loaded, nobody else, and didn't score? Like, come on. How many times? Think about it. Really think. You're going to be like, damn, you're right. You're right, Jason. I remember so many times bases loaded, nobody else, in the playoffs too, and we couldn't score a run. This year's team was sad, man. It wasn't good. On paper, don't get me wrong, on paper we were good. When you look at the players, you're like, oh yeah. But on the field, it didn't translate. This team wasn't really good. The 2025 Yankees weren't that good. I'm not buying it. If they run it back next year, oh man, we're in for a long season again. And the thing is that a lot of, and I used to be the same way. I used to fall for this stuff, but I've been watching this team way too long. I've been watching baseball way too long and watching this team way too long that to understand what's going on. It's like, okay, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, it's fun and it's great. When we play in the bad teams, oh man, we look like rock stars. But as soon as we play somebody who's halfway decent, all of a sudden the bat's just absolutely quiet. We face somebody who throws a splitter, you know, or something, a pitch, a curveball. For some reason, we can't hit breaking pitches. We're done. We get a guy in there who's pitching 100 miles an hour. Aside from Judge and maybe, I don't know, maybe Cody Bennett, nobody else is catching. Anthony Volpe ain't hitting 100, 101. He got lucky. He got one off of Garrett Crochet, and he ran into that one because he didn't do anything after that, right? The whole postseason. You got a guy in there throwing in the hundreds, man. The Yankees, they don't show up. If you got a good curveball, a good split finger fastball, forget about it, man. We're talking about, you know how much times this team's, how many games we watched this team strike out 12, 13, 14, 15 times. Think about it. We weren't that good, guys. I'm sorry. We really weren't. Blaze says, watch as Jake Bird becomes a key part. You know what's funny? I was thinking about Jake Bird the other day. I think he should. Hopefully he does. Hopefully now that he's been with the organization for a little bit, granted most of it was spent in AAA, but he's around all. He goes through the spring training, gets more comfortable. Hopefully he can be a piece, man. He can be, you know, something, do something for us in there. You think if Aaron Judge was to speak to Howe and Cashman about being a better team and sign great players, you think the Yankees will listen to Judge? I think so, man. Because after that, you know, for a guy like Aaron Judge to go to the owner and to tell him he's not happy, that's him giving him courtesy, like, okay, let's fix this. Because the next step is to publicly say he's not happy. And when he publicly says, if a guy like Aaron Judge publicly says he's not happy with the team's outlook, the team, that's when all hell breaks loose, right? That's when everybody's on notice. Cashman's on notice, everybody. If he goes over there and says, look, man, and he said it before, he's like, man, I think we're not looking at the right metrics or whatever. I think the Judge, if he speaks up, people are gonna listen. And I know he's not. I'm sure he wishes that it was better, but he just doesn't seem like the guy who's gonna complain and he's not gonna publicly say anything. Maybe behind the scenes he will. Li's in the building. What's up, man? Yankee solution to their evolution. You rhyming, man. Is in their youth. And I know Yankee fans want to sign 35-year-old JT Realmuto and having a retirement home roster, but it's the youth that will save us. You know, I agree with you, man. But my thing though, Li, because I don't think JT Realmuto. That's what I'm saying. There is nobody really on the free agency market that's gonna save this team. There isn't. My thing though, I don't trust the Yankees to develop players right. You know, that's my whole thing. I don't trust them. I don't trust them to do the right thing. But I do think that we have a future with some of these guys. You know, like I would like to see Elmer Rodriguez Cruz. Yeah, I don't know if he's ready. Maybe not this year, but maybe next year. But I want to see more of him. I think he's going to be really good. You know, LaGrenier, he's going to be really good. Especially pitching. Like, I think a lot of these guys could be really, really good. Again, I don't trust the Yankees to develop them right. That's the whole thing. I really don't. And I don't. The Yankees haven't given me anything to really believe that they can do the right thing with these guys. Aside from Cam Schlittler, I think that them bringing him up and him doing so good, off the rip, like he did really good when Cam Schlittler went down. I mean Cam Schlittler. Oh, you hear me? Clark Schmidt. When Clark Schmidt went down, Cam Schlittler, that's a tongue twister right there. Cam stepped in and right away immediately pitched well and did good. But I think if he came up and struggled off the gate, maybe it's a different outcome. Maybe they send him back down. I don't know. I don't trust the Yankees to really develop any of these guys, man. I hope I'm wrong, and maybe it changed. I think Cam Schlittler does give me hope that maybe the Yankees, maybe whatever they're doing down there is working, at least for pitching, right? At least for pitching. I hope so, though. I think we do got some, especially pitchers, man. We got a few stud pitchers that I think are ready. They're going to be ready soon. Roy says, Burr was better than Leiter Jr. I mean, look, I hope Jake Burr could produce, and if not, then keep his ass in AAA if he's not going to pitch good. I think he has stuff. Jake Burr, that slider reminds me a lot of like a guy like Craig Weiser, you know, who's with Boston now. That slider is just absolutely, excuse me, that slider or sweeper, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely filthy. But if not placed right, when you hang a slider like that, I don't care how filthy it is, it just becomes a big ass cement mixer, and you're gonna get crushed every time. And but I think once you learn how to throw it and place it right and have good command off of it, I think it plays well, especially if you have a good fastball. We'll see though. I don't have a lot of hope and faith in Jake Bird, but I do think that, you know, he has the opportunity, and I think that he can be a part of this bullpen, you know. And if not, then get his ass out of here too. I'm done, man. I'm not. I have a short leash with everybody, with every player. I think if you could go find a shortstop, the Yankees need to go do it. I'd be actively looking to trade for a good shortstop. And catcher, and all these positions, man. None of these guys are that good. He said Augustin Ramirez. Yeah, but all them guys. So here's the thing, right? First of all, Austin Wells is look, I hope he proves me wrong. Austin Wells is trash, guys. Come on. He is not. We could do better than that. Offensively, I think he's a good catcher. He's the best catcher we got right now. But he offensively, man, he sucks. Right? Let's keep it a buck, 100. A lot of times he looks lost up there at the plate. He is a one-trick pony. He's just gonna swing as hard as he can and hopes he runs into one. If you throw him a high fastball, 97 up and in, he cannot hit it to save his life. He can't. But they don't look. Every team. Obviously, some players are gonna work out, guy. Like Ben Rice, he worked out. But if the ratio, the majority of players that actually work out with the Yankees who develop and actually become good Major League Baseball players are not good. The track record is not there, guy. It just isn't. Hold on. Let me text somebody. It's not, man. It's not. So I don't think, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna stand by that. The Yankees do not develop players that well. They just don't, man. And I get it. We do have players that have come up and they, they're all right, right? But none have lived up to it. And most, I say over 90% or 95% of prospects in the Yankees organization turn out to be nothing. Not even major league players, and I get it. We don't draft that high. Hold on. My wife is texting me. Hold on. Yeah. Stephen B's in the bill. What's up, man? So it says, I don't think they were that good, but neither was any team in the AL really. Maybe the Jays. I mean, I don't know. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, the Mariners, the second half Mariners, post-trade deadline Mariners were better than the Yankees. If we would have ran into the Mariners, we would have had a hard time beating the Mariners. They were better than the Blue Jays were better than the Yankees too. We were barely better than Boston, man. Guys, you got to be real with yourself, man. You can't. You're delusional if you think this team was good. If this team had what it takes to win the World Series, they had the players, but they never lived up to it. They never lived up to the potential. They never lived up to the potential, man. So I'm going to stand on that, on what I believe in, that this team was not good. If they run it back again, this same team next year, and you cannot be happy with that, This team was not good. This team was barely 500 versus teams over 500. That's not good, right? Good teams don't do that. I think the Mariners were better than us. I think the Tigers were better than us. I think if we would have ran into any of those teams in the postseason, they would have beat us. I really do. We somehow managed to squeak out of that Boston series. Barely. Because go back and watch that series. You're going to be like, damn, that series was a lot closer than it should have been. But what do I know, man? Blazes Cashman, we developed Judge. No, I mean, Judge is one player, guys. I mean, look, Joe Sherman said it best. He said, look, if you would have traded every top prospect the Yankees had in the last 15 years, you would have been good, right? With the exception of Judge, you would have been perfectly fine because none of them panned out, guys. Come on, man. Look, you guys are in the same planet. We all live in the same world, right? We're reading the same stuff. You name me the prospects that came out this Yankees organization that you can say was holy shit. That kid is good. Like he legit. We got some guys right now who could live up to it right now. They still have to live up to it. But we had a lot of guys who ended up not being good. They ended up fizzling out. You know, how many times we got excited about a prospect and they came up here and started doing good, and we were like, and I'm not saying like a guy like Ben Rice, I'm not saying that's gonna be the case for Ben Rice. I'm not saying that's gonna be the case for some of these other guys coming up, Spencer Jones or anybody or Dominguez, and we still have to wait and see. But history, if you go back 15 years, at least 15, even longer than that probably, if you go back, you name me the prospect who came out of there and you're like, wow, aside from Aaron Judge. Name me one. Name me one. Really, name him. I'll wait. You tell me. So when I say that the Yankees don't develop, I'm saying that they don't develop guys, They might come up and they might have a good stretch, a good year, or maybe they just become average, or anything. Like I think Ben Rice had a hell of a year next year, and I hope he repeats it this year coming up. So we like guys like that, we still have to wait and see. But again, history tells us, right, that they don't. They just don't. When you look at like Baseball America and when they rank these prospects, we got a few up there, but we're not really up there. Every organization is gonna put out a prospect or two, man, but I don't think we have anybody really not yet anyway. I think we have some good ones coming up, but we'll see. We will see. Stephen B says, I think we need relievers, and offense is inconsistent all year. It needs more contact hitting and patient hitting. Celia says, I don't think they were that good, but the Mariners and Yankees have similar hitting and similar lineup. Most of the M's runs came off the home run. Yeah, but this is where you got to understand that the most runs, especially in the postseason, most runs come off the home run. It's not about the home run. It's that the Yankees, look, the Yankees, 2025 Yankees, and even beyond that, right? We hit a lot of home runs, but we don't hit them when we need them. That's the problem, right? We don't hit them when we need them. I really think that this year's Mariners were better than the Yankees. I get it. We were 5-1 against them throughout the season, but after the trade deadline, when they picked up Eugenio Suarez, even though he didn't really do too great, Josh Naylor, right? Jorge Polanco was a great pickup by the Mariners too. That's a guy that was out there that the Yankees could have got him too in the offseason. We could have got somebody like Jorge Polanco and did it. He was huge for them. And he started the season. Remember, in the beginning, he started the season. He was probably one of the hottest hitters the first month or two, April and May, to start the season. Then he kind of fizzled out, but the Mariners has a squad. They had a squad, right? Yeah, I don't know. You can't really say this team is good when we couldn't beat good teams. We couldn't beat good teams, pretty much. Celia, all right, man. Look, you guys, the offense went cold. I don't know what to tell you, Celia. If you think that offense, how many times did the offense go cold throughout the season? Think about it. Really think about it. Look, this team was not good, guys. Anybody who really knows baseball will tell you this team should have been better. They should have been a lot better, but they weren't that good. They beat up on bad pitching. That's what they do. They beat up on bad teams all season long. This team was not. We went 3 games without scoring a run. So you know how they went cold throughout the season. We seen them go cold throughout. I'm talking about ice cold, ice cold throughout the entire season. We seen them go ice cold. You had a guy, and don't get me wrong, Trey Savage is filthy. His stuff is filthy stuff. But he made the Yankees absolutely look silly. I'm talking about just silly. The Yankees were a one-trick pony. They just swing as hard as you can. And that's it, Buck Martinez was right. He was right. Like I don't know what. Look, man. If you and I'm talking to Celia, and it's nothing against you, Celia. If you think, if you really think, if you guys, this is to anybody, if you really think that this team was pretty good, then be happy when Cashman runs it back next year for real, because that's what's gonna happen. Because Cashman thinks they were pretty good too. He just said it. He thinks they were pretty good too, and so does Boone. Look, a good team. For 2 months, for 2.5 months, we were the worst team in baseball. We were the White Sox and the Rockies. We was down there with them for 2.5 months, guys. Good teams don't do that. You know, we got absolutely embarrassed by the Blue Jays. I'm talking about absolutely embarrassed. By the Red Sox too during the season, you know, except for late. That last month of September, we tried to turn it up. It was too late at that point. We went, I don't know if you guys remember, this was the turning point. This was the series for me that I knew this team wasn't good. It wasn't that good. We had played the Reds. You guys remember that? We went and played the Reds, the Cincinnati Reds at Cincinnati, and got destroyed by them. Remember that game with Jose Trevino when Jazz Chisholm got thrown out the game? Him and the umpire was arguing, and Trevino was kind of instigating, telling the umpire, look, he's talking crap to you. Remember that? Remember Ellie De La Cruz, the walk-off, they walked it off on us. Remember that series? When we went like 2 games, we only scored like 1 run in 3 games versus the Reds. They pitched that kid. It was his first major league start, and he shut us down. I forgot his name. That was the series there that I was like, man, this team is in trouble. You know, this team, I don't know if you guys remember, we went like a whole week where we only scored 1 run. In a week, in 5 days, like a whole week. 1 run. Like, they just weren't that good, man. They really weren't. Don't get me wrong. We're not the worst team. We're a decent team. When I say we weren't that good, I mean that we weren't good enough to beat the better teams. You know, when you really think about it, we didn't stand a chance versus the Blue Jays. We didn't. We didn't stand a chance versus the Blue Jays. I don't even think we would have beat the Mariners. We weren't the best team in the American League for sure. I don't even think we were the top 3 teams in the American League. You know, if you're really being honest with yourself, because even if we would have faced, maybe we barely beat the Red Sox. You know, we kind of got lucky on that one. While other ALT was amazing, I just watched 2 amazing teams last night, Celia. I just watched 2 teams last night who were so much more amazing than the New York Yankees. You think this team would have fought 7 games like that, going back to blow for blow like that? You know, and I'm not saying that they were better, like that great. I don't think this team had it in them. They just didn't, guys. And I hate to say, but look now in hindsight, like they say, hindsight's 20/20. Bro, we weren't gonna beat them. And even if we would have managed to squeeze by the Blue Jays somehow, we weren't gonna beat the Mariners. They weren't, guys. They weren't that good. Sorry. The bullpen was very iffy. The starting rotation was iffy. Right, we saw that versus good lineups, they didn't do good. Versus good lineups, they didn't do good, guys. We didn't stand. This team is not that good. I'm sorry. It's not good, and they're not good enough. Obviously, they didn't win. They got embarrassed. Are you trying to pull up Ellie De La Cruz? I think it's only 1 L. 1 L, yeah, in Ellie. I know we lost that game. We lost that series in bad. The Red Sox series, we scored 1. And then before that, we faced the Royals. We scored 1 run or 2 runs, maybe, that Royals series. We went 3 games straight without scoring a run. I don't remember who it was against, but I know we went 3 games straight without scoring a run. Like, good teams don't, and not, it's not like we were facing Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, no, versus regular pitchers. Look, guys, I don't know if you noticed, man. Here's the thing, right, Jake? Here's the thing, guys. They hit home runs, but they hit it when they need to hit it, right? They hit the home runs when they need to hit the home runs, but it wasn't all about the home runs with them. I've been watching this team the whole postseason, dude, carefully. It wasn't only home runs. They hit it. Every team that won, every single team in the postseason that's winning is doing it with the home run, guys. Don't get it twisted. I get it. We say we like contact. You got to make contact. That's great and all, but every team that's winning is doing it with the home run. Every team. Every team who's won in the postseason has done it with the home run, you know, and their guys have stepped up. But when, you know, you got like Jorge Polanco, he won the game versus the Tigers with a base hit. You know, you got some of theirs like that. Home run is king. Don't get it twisted. If you're not hitting home runs, you ain't winning ball games, guys. Let's not get it twisted. I'm not saying, when I say that the Yankees are a home run or nothing team, I mean that they have no approach. They don't work a count. They just swing as hard as they can. And that's it. But the home run is the king. You saw it yesterday. Home run won that game. The whole game was home runs, right? Except for the first run that the Blue Jays scored. But it's all home runs. The whole series was home runs. When the Blue Jays beat us, a lot of it was big-time home runs too. So you're going to need the home runs, right? The team, the Blue Jays and the Mariners are better than the Yankees, guys. Both those teams were better than the Yankees. Both those teams that played last night were better than the Yankees, than the 2025 Yankees, both of them. If the Yankees would have made it, let's say even if we would have faced the Mariners in the division series, they would have knocked us out. We weren't good enough, guys. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you don't want to swallow that pill, man, it's tough to swallow, but the proof is in the pudding. Look at where they made it and look at where our team made it. You know, whether you like it or not, they were both better than the Yankees. Anthony Ranger, go Blue Jays, go. Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the Blue Jays. I'm a Yankee fan, but I want them to win too. I want them to win. The Mariners did well they had a good deadline. They went all in, kind of all in, but they had a good team. That's why when people say that Kyle Riley, or when they be like, but look who he got around him. He don't have. I'm like, what are you talking about? They have their whole lineup is stacked, with the exception of that dude Rivas, maybe, because he's trash. But they got a good lineup. What they got? Jorge Polanco, Julio Rodriguez, Eugenio Suarez, Josh Naylor. Even that dude Robles got some pop. They have a good team, right? And look, and I hate to say it, my whole thing, right, with this thing, I'm just trying to be real with myself. When I look, because I think about next year, and that's why I had this here. When I think about next year, because I have a feeling that they're not going to do much, right? Why is this not coming up? I have a feeling that the Yankees are not going to do much next year. And if what I'm trying to say, look, I'm not saying the Yankees were the worst team in baseball or whatever, but they obviously weren't good enough, right? So if you're happy with last year, if you think that this year's team was good, then be happy next year. That's all I'm going to tell you. Be happy with your team. I'm here to tell you the truth. In reality, this team was not good enough. We weren't even top 3 in the American League. We weren't. You know, we just weren't. And I don't mean over a 162. I mean the teams that ended up at the end, right? And when the postseason started, the teams that were left standing, you know, the Mariners, the Tigers, Yankees, Red Sox, Blue Jays. Who else? I'm missing one. And the Guardians, right? The 6 teams that were left standing in the American League. I don't even think I think we were. I know for sure the Mariners and the Blue Jays were better than us. I think the Tigers were even better than us. We're like fourth, maybe third or fourth best in the American League. I think. You saw that extra. You know the ALDS, right? The Mariners versus the Tigers, and they played 18 innings. You think the Yankees survived that game? Really, think about it, guys. You think the Yankees survived 18 innings in that game? So I was going back and forth, back and forth. The defense, crazy double plays. And you think the Yankees survived that? Big time strikeouts? Hell no. Guys, I watched this team. I watched every pitch of every inning for almost this season. And I'm telling you right now, the Yankees would have lost that game. The first they might have maybe 11 innings. They would have lost it. They were not good in extra innings, especially on the road. Especially on the road. It would have been a wrap. They wouldn't have stood a chance. Even though the Tigers still eventually lost, but they put up a fight. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You can say the same thing about the guys on the Yankees. They had Bellinger, Stanton, Dominguez, Grisham, who's having a career year. No, I get you, guy. Jake, right? But the thing is, here's what you guys don't understand. This, and I'm going to say it again for you guys who don't listen, right? The Yankees were great versus bad teams and bad pitching. They were phenomenal. You know, when I'm talking about, I've never seen stat padding as great. You know, not all of them, but for the most part, all of them. But you saw when they faced a pitcher who was half decent, you could throw all that out the window because the majority of them, I'm not going to say all of them because I think Cody Bellinger was good. The majority of them, they weren't good, guys. They looked terrible. They sucked, you know, versus a team who knows what they're doing or a pitcher who knows what they're doing. They weren't good. And guess what? That's the whole thing about the postseason. Most likely in the postseason, you're going to face better pitching. You're going to face better pitching. You're going to face better defense. You're going to face better teams. You tell me, did they hit in the wild card? Did they hit in the wild card? Right? Barely. They barely hit in the wild card. They didn't hit at all, really. There was just a few timely hits here and there, right? And then in the division series, they didn't hit at all. That whole game, you remember game two? Game two when they took your Savage out and we scored 7 runs after being down 12-zip. Those 7 runs don't count. Don't count those 7 runs. When you up 12-zip, your manager's literally telling you, just throw fastballs down the middle. Let's get out this damn game. That's it. That's all that was. He pulled his pitcher who was dominating. So every one of those runs, those 7 runs in game 2 versus the Blue Jays, don't count those. Those don't count. Look, guys, you can't change my mind. Like, bro, it's obvious, bro. If you can't see that this team was not good, this team was not good. If they run it back next year with this team, I'm a watcher because I'm a diehard fan. I'm a super fan. But guess what? We're going to be here in a year from now. We'll be here saying the same thing. They're not good, guys. Plain and simple. We have to have more pitching. We have so many injuries. Yeah, man. I think we gotta get one dominant. We gotta get some dominant pitchers, man. Yeah, Roy said no 18 innings. I don't know, man. And I hate to be like that. Look, I'm just trying to be. Look, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. If you wanna, one of those channels that's gonna be like, yeah, well, and it was all butterflies and rainbows. That's not me, man. I'm gonna be real with you. If the Yankees look, when the Yankees are good, they're good, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, because there's times when I feel like, oh, maybe they're gonna. I felt like this team on paper. Don't get me wrong, on paper, this team should have been a lot better, but they weren't. They weren't, you know. They never lived up to that. They weren't good. I don't even know how else to tell you. Like, it's pretty obvious, you know. It's pretty obvious they weren't good. And that whole thing where, like, you say, well, the AL was wide open and everything. I thought that too. I did. I believed that too until we got to the postseason. I started realizing, no, these other teams are better than us. They are. They're built for the playoffs. Like the Dodgers, right? Here's the thing. Forget about everything you do in the regular season. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't even have the best. The Dodgers don't even have home field advantage because the Blue Jays have a better record than them. The Yankees had a better record than the Dodgers. You tell me the Yankees had a better record than the Dodgers. You think the Yankees are better than the Dodgers? You think the 2025 Yankees are better than the 2025 Dodgers right now? Of course not. Right? The Dodgers, they just played it off good. They know they're built for October. You understand? So the regular season it's just a matter of getting there for them. Right? That's why they could have brung Blake Snell, right? Because he was hurt the beginning of the season. They could have brung him back a lot earlier and made him pitch out there. Remember that at one point they didn't have any starters. At one point the Dodgers had no pitchers. Tyler Glasnow was hurt. Blake Snell was hurt. Roki Sasaki wasn't pitching well. They sent him to the minors. Tanner Scott was pitching like ass. Their bullpen was decimated. All of them were hurt. They had no pitchers. You know, a team like the Yankees or a regular team, they would have been like, we got to get these guys back. The Dodgers didn't even care. They knew that they were going to just making it. Once they got to October, they made sure that everybody was healthy. They're so deep, you know. But on paper, when you look at it, if you look at the record only, you'd be like, wait, but, you know, look at their record. The Yankees are better than them. The Yankees had 94 wins. The Dodgers didn't have 94 wins. That's not the case, though. So this team's right. The Yankees, here's the thing. The Yankees are built for the regular season. They're not built for October. They're not. They're not built for a 5-game series or a 7-game series. I thought they were. And look, I think if you get a better performance from Max Fried, if he pitches better in the LDS, maybe things are different. But I already knew. Look, if you would, for y'all that have been watching me, I told you even from the beginning of the series, before the ALDS started with the Yankees and the Blue Jays, I told you the only way we win this series is if we out-hit them. That's the only way, because they're going to hit our pitchers. They did it so all season long. I showed you guys. Max Fried got rocked all 2025. He got absolutely rocked by the Blue Jays. Why was anybody thinking that the ALDS was going to be any different? He pitched, like, before the ALDS, Max Fried pitched against the Blue Jays 3 times, and every game he gave up 4 runs or more. So why did we think he was going to pitch any better? You know, I was hoping he did, but I already knew they had his number. The same thing with Rodon. He got rocked by them. I already knew they had Rodon's number. Luis Hill, the same thing. They smoked Luis Hill. Vladdy owns Luis Hill. Why do we think that this, going into the ALDS, us Yankees fans, right? And I'm going to include myself because I'm a fan too. We were like, oh, we got the pitchers. We have the pitching advantage. No, we didn't. We never had an advantage. That's what I'm saying. This team was better than us. Completely. They were better than us. Like, it wasn't even close, really, guys. Look at it. You watched it. Do you mean to tell me you think that this series was close? It really wasn't. I'm sorry. That's why I said we're so far. We're farther than even the Cashman and the Yankees front office think. They think because we get it to the ALDS that we're close, you know, to the World Series. No, we're not. We're not even close. We're not. Right? I think if the Blue Jays had Roman Anthony, if the Red Sox had Roman Anthony, if the Red Sox had I forgot the other guy that got hurt. Another what's he, first baseman? Is Tristan Campbell, is it? I don't know. They got another young star, man. Casas. I forgot his name. If that guy is not hurt, I think it's a whole nother ball game, man. You understand? Like they could be way better too. I don't know if they're gonna re-sign Bregman or what's gonna happen. Who knows, right? But and never count the Orioles out. I'm pretty sure the Orioles are planning on making a comeback somehow. The Yankees got to look. The bottom line is, I say all that to say this. This team wasn't good enough. This team wasn't that good. They can't run this team back again. That's all I'm saying. That's all that the last hour of saying that this team sucked is to say that for them to bring this same team back, right? It will be crazy. They got to make some major changes. You know, they got to make some major change, and not even major. I think that we need like a few good players, and you're not gonna find them in the free agency. You're gonna have to make the trades. Anthony Volpe, you know, I get it. He's not gonna start the season, but I think that ship has sailed. You know, you gotta try to, you know, for now maybe you run Caballero out there. I don't know, but you gotta go out there and try to see. You gotta go to the Angels for Zach Neto. You gotta go to the, you know, to the A's for a guy like Jacob Wilson. You got to go to the Nationals for their shortstop. I forgot his name, Winston or whatever. You got to go to these teams and say, what do you want, right? I get it that most likely they're not going to trade them, but you got to go to these teams and say, what do you want for this player? And take it from there, right? These players are available. Don't get it twisted. Look, we starting to hear about Turk Skubal. Right, nobody thought that he would be available like that, and I don't think he's going to be available now. I think it would have to be maybe like a trade deadline thing, maybe. But he could possibly be available. And we talking about arguably the best pitcher in the league. You know, we didn't think Mason Miller was going to get traded from the A's. He got traded. The same thing with Jacob. Look, the reason why I say a guy like Jacob Wilson is probably available. I'm not going to say like they're not shopping him around, but for the right deal, they might make it. Is because they got the top shortstop prospect. They have literally the number one shortstop, right? If you look at the prospect, they have the number one short. That dude, Leo DeVries, whatever his name is, they got him from the Padres. This dude's supposed to be a superstar. He's the next guy coming up. Unless they move him to third or move him to second or do something like that, he's being blocked by Jacob Wilson. He's a shortstop, right? They have an option. I'm not saying they will trade Jacob Wilson, but they have another shortstop, right? So, and the same thing with Zach. The thing with Zach Neto, why I feel like a trade could possibly happen is because they're not having any extension talks, right? This guy, I'm not sure where his I think his contract goes up to like 2028 or something like that. But eventually, if they're not going to extend him, eventually that guy's going to be up for trades too. You just never know, right? We didn't think Kyle Tucker. Who thought Kyle Tucker was getting traded before the winter meetings last year when they said, they're up for discussions of Kyle Tucker. Because remember with Kyle Tucker, they said, oh no, we're not trading him. This is what the Astros said, we're not trading him. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, they said, oh, they're discussions about Kyle Tucker with the Yankees and the Cubs and other teams. And then all of a sudden he got traded, right? Who thought that was happening? That's what I'm saying. So I think that the Yankees got to go out there and be active, and they got to be active and go out there. And I'm not saying it's going to be Kyle Tucker or any of these players that I just mentioned, but I have a feeling every year in the offseason, every year there's a big name that all of a sudden becomes available. Right? Last year it was Kyle Tucker. The year before that it was Juan Soto. This year, maybe it's Turk Skubal. Maybe, I don't know who. There's always one player out there that's like, whoa, this is the guy. And whoever that is, the Yankees got to try to get that guy. There's always one guy that you never thought was going to get traded who becomes available in the offseason. And hopefully the Yankees, hopefully we get that one. But make sure you like the video if you haven't liked it. I don't know, nobody been doing the clown faces or anything like that. I'm pretty surprised. Is it even working? Or maybe it's not working. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Jake says, if you give up 7 earned runs, you're not winning that game. Your offense won't be able to get you back in the game. This is why I said they need a really good starter. Yeah, no, I agree. And especially coming in with starting the season, Rodon is not going to be there, obviously. Clark Schmidt, look, Clark Schmidt is not good. I'm sorry, guys. Let me rephrase that. He's not a bad pitcher, but he ain't a good pitcher either. He's like one of them guys. It's like, okay, he'll give you some innings. He ain't the guy you want when everything's on the line, right? and neither is Will Warren. I'm sorry, I don't care. I know Eli's gonna kill me if he's still in here. Will Warren ain't that good either. I think he has potential, but right now he's not. He has something that Cam Schiller has something that Will Warren doesn't have, besides a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. It's just certain about his makeup, his gut, he has that killer instinct where he can go out there in a big game and freaking just deal and pitch his ass off. Will Warren doesn't have that. Will Warren, every big game this season, every big game, even remotely close to big game. That's why he didn't pitch in the postseason at all. Well, he did actually. He came in after Max Fried and gave up that grand slam to Vladdy and stuff. But there's a reason why they didn't want him to pitch, because he doesn't have the stomach for it. He folds in the big games. Have a great one, Roy. I'll see you, man. He does. And Michael King, I don't know about Michael King either, man. I don't know. I like Michael King, but he's dealing with some, and I don't know. I don't like pitchers that are hurt. You know, I really don't. That's not saying that he can't be healthy by the time the opening day comes or anything, but Michael King is going to cost a lot of money, and that dude ended the season broken. I don't know. I'm not on the Michael King train. Personally, I'm not on that train just yet. Not yet. I think if you could somehow, you know, I don't know. Would you rather have Michael King or Sandy Alcantara, or maybe a Joe Ryan or something? That's what the Yankees need. We really need like a big time guy like that, man. Because I don't know. I don't think Cole is gonna look. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Cole comes back and he's Garrett Cole that we all know and love. But to expect that from a guy who's 36 years old who just underwent Tommy John surgery, that's a lot, right? That's a lot. I don't know. Harrison Bader, I don't think Harrison Bader is a good fit. I think Harrison Bader, if you guys don't know, I think that he wasn't that liked when he was here. He had some clubhouse, and I don't know. Look, I don't have no inside knowledge or none. This is me just reading between the lines and reading players' lips and stuff. I think he has some, I don't know, some issues in the clubhouse with certain people. I don't think him and Oswaldo got along like that. I'm going to try to look it up right now. There was something, right, a couple years ago that I saw, that nobody saw, right? Because I'm telling you, I watch all the games, man, pitch by pitch. In between pitches, I'm analyzing everything. Let me see if I can find this. And there was something, him and Oswaldo had got into it looked like, in one game. And nobody noticed it. No, and Judge had to go over there and talk to them and like break it. I'm going to see if I can find it here real quick and pull it up. Damn. Well, maybe not. I can't find it. Shoot. Yeah, but there was a... Did I delete that thing? Yeah, there was a game between... I don't know. I don't think Harrison Bader is a good fit. I don't think he left on good standings, man. Me personally. I don't think. Okay, where is it? Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm going to play this right here for a second. Look. Give me a second, guys. All right, remember, this is years ago. This is a video. It was just me recording in my house in between games. Let me turn this on. And I could be bugging. I could be completely wrong about this. I really can. But look. All right, guys, I noticed something really, really strange in last night's Yankees versus Rays game. You know, obviously, it was a tough loss. But at the end of the game, this is 2023. You can clearly see Judge is talking to Beta, and he's not happy about something. I don't think nobody caught this, but I think I know what they're talking about, and I'm going to show you. All right, let's look at this conversation. So the game is over.
Offensively didn't do much besides that.
Look at this.
This game ends on a misplay in left field that gave the Rays an opportunity with an extra out to take the lead, take the first game of this series.
See what I'm talking? All right. Let's pause it right there and let's rewind
Game
a little
ends
bit.
on a misplay.
Okay, first of all,
See, that was
this is
after the
not
game.
normal for after the game, especially in a loss like that. Usually, them guys are grabbing their bats, they're grabbing their gloves, and they're heading into the.
This is why I don't think Harrison Bader is a good fit. I think that Harrison Bader, after this, he ended up getting traded. I think that he had an issue, and I could be wrong. This was just me, something that I caught. I think that he had issues. Judge was talking to him like, bro, like, why you did that? Whatever. You saw, if you read the lips, I wish I could make this bigger, but let me see. I don't know.
The clubhouse. They're not here talking and conversating, right? If you notice, right before the camera switched off to them, you see Cabrera looking upset and he walks off, right? So I think this conversation is stemming from something that Bader said while Cabrera was batting in the 9th inning. So let's watch this again and then we'll switch to Cabrera's at bat.
Left field that gave the Rays an opportunity with an extra out to take the lead, take the first game of this series.
He's like, just don't do it
You see him
again.
say, just don't do that.
Game ends on a
See Cabrera
misplay in
walk
left
off?
field that gave the Rays an opportunity
He's like, look, I
with
understand.
an extra out to take
Just
the
don't do
lead,
that.
take the first game of this series.
Just don't do that, all right? So let's go to Cabrera's at bat. So I think this is what it was about. Hold on, let me get to it. Where is it? I got too far. Hold on. Okay. We're here. Nope, it's not where I want to be.
Today, the 3-run player reaction from the clubhouse.
Watch this at bat. Cabrera's batting up in the 9th. Sabrina just made an out. Watch what Bader says. The camera's gonna switch off to Bader in the dugout. And look what he says. Look, this guy, hopeless, right? Let's go back. Look what he says.
But here's Oswaldo Cabrera. He is over.
It looks like he says this guy's hopeless, or this game is hopeless, or something to that effect. Hopeless, right? So that happened in the 9th, and then obviously at the end of the game, you see Cabrera there. He walks off. He doesn't look happy, and Judge is talking to Bader about something, telling him just don't do that anymore, right? They was obviously speaking about it. Judge was not happy about something because these guys usually they just grab their bats and they walk off. I think nobody caught this, but
That gave the Rays an opportunity.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a long time ago, man. I don't think that's why I don't think Harrison Bader is ever gonna be back on the Yankees. I think that there was something going on there, and that was I had another clip too, man. I don't know where's that. Another thing where I saw that I was like, man, is this guy like they don't like him or something, or he's causing trouble in the dugout? I don't know. Yeah, Leo's a superstar. I watched him in high A ball a lot at Fort Wayne, but I would send off Wilson. So you saying you would trade Wilson? No, that's what I'm saying. That dude Leo DeVries is supposedly, for everything that I've read about this guy, I don't know much about him. I don't know much about the guy, but they say this guy is the next superstar shortstop. Like they talking about, you know how Jackson Churio got signed in the minor before he even played in the majors. They gave him an $80 million deal. They're talking about that's what they got to do with this guy Leo. And so my thing is, if he's that good, like they say he is, and he's a shortstop in the A system, and you got Jacob Wilson there, they can't both play shortstop, right? So that means somebody's got to get moved. So that's why I'm not saying that Jacob Wilson is available, but I don't know. And I'm thinking maybe they consider that, like, hey, we got this other guy coming right up, like we could trade him and fill the spot right away. You know, just saying. I agree, but he needs to be flexible with his contract. Jake says, my thing is I feel like they're going to settle for second or third best. I highly doubt they're going to get Scooby, but they need to get someone on the Joe Ryan level at least. Yeah, we do, man. Just in case Cole doesn't work out or he needs more time than we thought. The fact that Rodon is not going to make the rotation, He's not going to be in the rotation to start the season. Yeah, I think if you can get somebody, I don't think Luis Hill. Look, I hope that he can figure it out, but I'm not putting my eggs in that basket. Clark Schmidt won't be ready, but even Clark Schmidt, he was never the guy. He's not a top of the rotation kind of guy anyway, you know. Will Warren, I like Will Warren. He's an innings eater, but he ain't the guy who's going to be in the top of rotation either. See what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, you got Max Fried. That's about it. I think if you can somehow get a guy like Scoob, even though Scoob was a rental, or Joe Ryan or something like that, you go and you do it, man. You freaking do it. I don't care what it takes. Those are game changers right there. Those are guys. Now, if you have something like that going into a postseason series, you're dangerous. You know, instantly you're a favorite. You know, especially in like a 5-game series where you can pitch a guy like Scoob twice. Oh, man. You know, and then you got Max Fried and you got these other guys. We need a true stopper. The Yankees need a true stopper. I thought Max Fried was that guy. And he was that guy for a lot, but 162 and during the season is a lot different than the playoffs, right? So you see how we lost game 1 to the Blue Jays. We needed Max Fried to stop him that second game, and he couldn't. I don't know. Yassine says, if Judge says I want Boone and Cashman fired, to how do you think he would do it? And when you go live, if Boone and Cashman. Oh, man, if Boone and Cashman gets fired, or when they do, at some point they got to get, maybe not fired, but at some point they're not going to be there anymore. Of course I'm going to go live. Like, I ain't going nowhere. If Judge says that, I don't think Judge will ever say that. I don't think he would say it like that, man. Judge is the kind of guy who, if he says anything to her, he's going to say, go to her and be like, look, man, what are we doing? That's something like that. Like, what are we doing? Like, we got to get, if somebody, let's say like a guy like Juan Soto or a big time player, you know, or let's say that even like a guy like Turk Score, let's say there's a player out there that can change everything, like a Paul Skeens type player. I'm not saying Paul Skeens or Turk Score. There's a player out there that can change everything for the Yankees. I think if Judge says, hey, man, freaking whatever it takes, get this guy. I think Howard listens to Judge. I think he does. Will he fire Cashman for Judge? I don't know. I think he'd think about it. He would. I don't know. We'll see. I think Judge likes Boone. I think he likes Boone, but I don't think he likes Cashman. I don't think anybody likes Cashman, to be honest. I don't think anybody likes Cashman. If the only reason Judge is a Yankee, it's not because of Cashman. If it was all based on Cashman, Judge would be in a Giant right now. He'd be in the Giants. The only reason why he's bad is because of Hal. You know, whether we like it or not. That's why a lot of people, they hate Hal. And even me, I'm mad at Hal because I feel like I want to see his face more for some reason. As crazy as that sounds, right? Because it's not like even him showing his face doesn't mean the Yankees are going to play better, but at least makes me feel like they care a little more. But with all that being said, without Hal, we don't get Juan Soto. Without Hal, we don't get Aaron Judge. Without Hal, you know, at least he tried to get Soto back. Soto was never going to come back. He did what he could, right? So it's not all Hal's fault. I'll say that. I don't think Hal is cheap, like some people think. I don't think he's cheap or anything. I just think that the guy he has running the show in Cashman, he's just not doing a good job. Plain and simple. I think after 20, I think, you know, Cashman, Hal's not the guy who's going to fire somebody. He's not going to let somebody get paid and not work. I feel like he's that type of person. So definitely, I would assume, right, if we don't win nothing by 2027, like Real Bill says, that Boone and Cashman are on contract through 2027. If after the 2027 season we don't win anything, I think that they make the move, right? I think they tell Cashman, look, either you resign and say you want to retire for whatever reason, or we going to just say, look, we're moving on. I think they have to at that point. I could be wrong, though, man. It's been 30 years of this dude. Like, my goodness. He's gonna freaking die, the GM. God forbid, but he would have left a long time if he was tired of the Yankees. No, but look, I really believe, right? Because remember, the Yankees and Judge. So, look, guys, Judge, before he had the 62, right? That 62 home run season forced the Yankees. Look, the Yankees could have got Judge for way cheaper. Judge wanted an extension before the 2022 season when he hit the 62 home runs. Judge was in talks with a extension. He wanted not even nowhere near what he got, right? He didn't even want, Cashman didn't want to give him the money. Cashman didn't want to sign. He didn't even want to extend him. He was like, it's too much. Then Judge went out there and hit 62 home runs. And then Cashman still didn't want to give him the money. What happened was, they even said it, Judge, Hal Steinbrenner, because it was like, Judge was about to be a Giant. He was this close to being with the Giants. Remember, he grew up there. It made sense. And the Yankees weren't even offering him the type of money that he wanted. He ended up taking a pay cut with the Yankees. But at one point, the Yankees were way far from what the Giants were offering. We were offering him like 30 mil, like we were offering him like 300 mil, 10 years type thing. When the Giants offered them like 400 mil or something like that. I don't know, whatever it was, but they were offering him a lot more money. They even said, this is facts. Hal called Judge and was like, look, what do you want, man? Let's get this done. What does it take? What do you want to get this done? You know? And they agreed and ended up being, what was it, 9 years, 36 million or something like that? 360 million, which is a steal when you think about it. No, I don't know what you're talking. When they signed Judge, Lou, when the Yankees signed Judge, Juan Soto wasn't even in the mix at all. He was on the Padres. He wasn't in the mix at all. Absolutely not. Even Cashman did. I think that Cashman, from what everything the reports were, that Cashman didn't even want Juan Soto. Look, Judge is a Yankee because of Hal Steinbrenner. Simply, they didn't make the deal. Judge didn't talk to Cashman. His agent didn't speak to Cashman. They didn't make the deal, right? The deal was made between Judge and Hal Steinbrenner. They cut Cashman out. This is facts. Go look this shit up, guys. Cashman was not. Judge is a Yankee because of Hal Steinbrenner, not because of Brian Cashman. From everything that was reported, they dealt one-on-one personally. They went personally, the owner and the player, and made the deal. Soto wasn't even, and even in that, if you remember, trust me, dude, I've been following this and reporting on this here. On Soto, the reports were Soto, the Yankees were talking to the Padres about Soto. Cashman didn't want to give up Michael King. It was reported that Hal was the one who told Cashman, do whatever it takes to get this guy. Because remember, the year before we didn't make the playoffs, it was reported, right? Season ticket sales at Yankee Stadium was down like 30% going into the winter meetings. It was a big thing. This was the news at the time. They're like, season ticket sales are down big time, because the Yankees didn't make the playoffs. The Yankees needed something desperately. Juan Soto was available. We had the perfect package for them. Cashman didn't want to give up Michael King. That was not Cashman's plan, right? Cashman was trying to make the deal, but he wasn't trying to give up Michael King. It was Hal. From everything that was reported, it was Hal that said, do it. Whatever they want, just get it done. So we like to hate on Hal, and for good reason too. But I think the real problem, man, is Hal is the problem too, but it's Cashman, man. I really think it's Cashman. And if you ask Alex Rodriguez, he'll tell you it's Cashman. I bet you behind closed doors, if you ask Derek Jeter, he would tell you it's Cashman. Because he had problems with Cashman almost didn't want to sign Derek Jeter, bro. This guy, like, I don't know what's wrong with this dude. I think if you ask, I don't know. To me, he's the ruler. He's been there the longest. He's been there, even though Hal grew up, right? But Hal wasn't running the team He started running the team what, in like 2010 or something? I don't know when the Hank died. His brother. Cashman's been running this team longer than Hal has. Think about that. He's been the GM almost 30 years, but he's been in the Yankees front office for almost 40 years, guys. Long before he was ever the GM, he was already there. He's been in the Yankees for damn near 40 freaking years, man. It's absolutely insane. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Bottom line is, the World Series, I think is going to be better than, hopefully is better than what people think is going to be. I don't think that the Dodgers are going to absolutely destroy the Blue Jays. If they do, that'd be unfortunate. I'm hoping that it's a good series. I'm personally going for the Blue Jays, even though they talked a lot of crap about the Yankees, but so did the Dodgers. Yeah, I'm an American League kind of guy, so I want the Blue Jays to win. But it's gonna be a tall mountain to climb because that Dodger team is stacked. They are absolutely incredible, and they don't have any holes. There is not one thing you can say like, okay, that's how you beat this team. If I had to pick one thing, it's probably the bullpen. So you got to get to the bullpen. Yeah, Yassine says the Yankees need a new voice and GM, man. They do, man. We need something different, That's all. Tomorrow I'm gonna probably go on at night. I'm gonna start doing the night. I've been doing earlies because I don't know if you noticed. I work. The government shut down, right? And I'm a federal employee, so right now everything's shut down. We're not getting paid. We're not working, so I'm at home a lot more. But anyway, yeah. Have a great one, man. Yeah. Have a good one. Hopefully, once the World Series is done, man, we'll hear a lot more news. Oh, one other piece of news that I forgot. Albert Pujols apparently is not going to be the Angels manager. They signed Kurt Suzuki as their manager, the Los Angeles Angels. So that means that Albert Pujols, I think the Orioles might make them their manager. I think the Orioles are looking for a manager, even though I know they had their interim manager. He probably wants that job, but I could see them going with a guy like Albert Pujols to kind of teach them young guys they got. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, man. We will see. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys have a blessed one. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Maybe I might even come on later. I don't know. I've been playing some MLB The Show. I don't know if you guys into video games, but that's how I get my fix of baseball. I take my frustration out on the baseball game. But yeah, Paul O'Neill, 1994. That's when he won the batting title, right? He had won a batting title, I believe. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys. Take it. You put in 2 L's. That's why it's not working. It should have worked when Jonathan did it, but I don't know. We'll try it next time. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Peace.
Yeah. Oh, that fifth inning done broke my soul. I was sitting on my couch wearing pinstripes with pride. Game 5 on the line, got that Bronx fire inside. But the 5th inning came and it tore us apart. Dodgers lit us up, now I'm here with a broken heart. Vibe turned cold. Then Garrett Cole froze like his fire done rolled. A 3-run double like a ghost from days of old. Now I'm sitting here mourning in pinstripes and gold. Wow! That 5th inning blue struck out my hopes. Now I'm drowning in the booze. I texted my said, turn the game off, man. He said, we still got time, but I just can't understand. They took our thunder, they stomped our flame. Now the whole damn Bronx feeling nothing but shame. Oh, that fifth, that cursed old